Good morning. I'm going to do a Pilates workout with you, but it will be on the floor today. So if you're not able to lay down on the floor, make sure you're on a sofa or a bed, and I'll instruct you from here. Once on your mat, we will sit up with a straight back and just start by pushing the chest towards the knees and releasing. As you do this, this will allow the middle of the back or spine, so mainly thoracic region here, to lengthen, strengthen and feel the stretch. I'm going to do about 10 of these, so I'm just gently pushing forwards to the chest and knees to lengthen through that back. And this is really good for you if you sit at the computer a long time, lots of cooking, or in the kitchen. But here, as you strengthen and push towards the knees, you pull down the middle of the back, and that's usually where most people's back pain is. And then I'm going to place my ball just a little way from the back, allowing now to stimulate the core muscles. I'm going to bring the arms forwards to help me to balance, as though you are on a rowing machine in the gym. I'm just going to come to the ball and away. So a nice, quick and easy way to warm up the body straight away. And again, as I roll back through my spine, I'm curving through the spine that we've just stretched. And here, as you do this, you will need to work your core muscles. So really good as a little bit of a warm up, but great for the tummy muscles. Now here, as you roll off of the bottom and back, if it's a little sore in the lower back, bring the ball closer towards you. And you don't have to use the arms, and if this is too much going forwards and back here, then just keep the hands on the knees, and this will help you to come up before you roll back. So continue in for another 6 of these. Now straighten again, bringing the feet closer to the bottom, straight knees and lift the chin. You should feel the nice stretch in the back again here. I'm going to hold for 2 to 3 breaths here. So I'm not moving through position, just stretching to hold. Now I'm going to rely on the ball to work on my lower back and core by using the legs. So I'm going to bring one leg up towards me. Again, here, supported by your core muscles, stretching the back of the leg. I'm gently going to limber that leg, foot towards the head. Still relying on the ball there to support my lower body. I'm looking towards my knee as I stretch and lengthen through the back of the leg and hamstring. I'm going to swap legs. So a nice easy one to do on a sofa if you can't come down on the floor. So really good for these muscles and behind the knee. So if you've got a poorly knee, this is a real good one to lengthen and strengthen the legs. I'm going to do 4 more of here. And then I'm going to come up again and straighten the back, pushing forwards through that thoracic spine. 4 to 5 stretches here. Now, working on the legs and hips, I'm going to turn towards you and bring one knee bent in front of me. From the hip to the knee should be straight towards me. This leg now going out to the side and in line with your mats if you're on the floor. Now it's optional if you want to put the hand here or elbow down, but I'm going to use that hand under my ankle to support and balance the arm and leg that I'm leaning towards, so that this one can come off the floor. I'm going to go up and down for 15 of those nice easy workouts on the quadricep muscles. Actually, they're not easy, they're quite difficult. So as you've done about 10, you might want to drop the leg and go back again. I'm going to do 20 of those, and again firing my quadricep muscles. You might find you can't get the foot off the floor, and then that just takes a little bit of practice. So foot down. Now from here I'm going to bend that knee that I've just used so that both knees are bent into 2 triangles, and then I'm going to lean to bring that knee forward and back to work on my glute muscles, hips and bottom. And this one's really good if you want to streamline into the bottom and make it more muscly or a little smaller. I'm going to do 15 of these into that nice easy bent knee swing, getting that work there into your glute muscles. Now you can place the hand on top on the hip. This will also help you with your balance. And again, remember, you can go down to the elbows if easier. I'm going to do 5 more. And then I'm going to release that leg, and we're going to do the same on the other leg. So leg out to the side. Some of you again may want the ball here to rely on. Same hand to same ankle, hand on the hip. We're going to go up and down to work the quads again. 20 of those lifts. Here I'm trying to get my toes towards the ceiling. Also, as I'm working the quadricep muscles here, trying to keep my back up as best I can. So 10 more here. And then we're going to bend that back knee like we did on the other side. Rely, if you like, on the leg to lean on. And again, 20 bent knee swings. Bringing the knee towards the other knee, and then the heel to your bottom. So you feel it right in the hip and glute muscles. So last spine here. And then from here, I'm going to lengthen my legs towards you and just give them a bit of a shape to release the quads and the hips. Now, a nice easy one to do now is just to lift one heel at a time off the floor. Notice the foot or feet are flexed and my back's going to come up straight. And here, you're working on your quads again. It's a very easy exercise because you can just do this wherever you are, whether you're on the floor or sofa. And as you come up and down, working through the top leg muscles, maybe just hold for a second and release. Notice my hands are just sitting comfortably either side of the thighs, and again, straight back to work the spine. So you should start to feel a nice pull or warming in these quadricep muscles. And if you're in my classes, you'll know that I often say, if you're able to do this every day, just a little bit, even if you're just laying on the bed or on the sofa, it will prevent these muscles going smaller and losing the power in them as you get older. I'm going to do 2 more. And then I'm going to flex the feet but roll forwards and reach for my toes and tuck in my head. So here I'm looking down at the knees and then pushing a little further forwards. I'm just going to pulse there. So my elbows are soft and I'm stretching through my back. Gently breathing in and out, and then trying to get the head a little lower to the knees. Again, stretching through the spine and hamstrings now. So from the bottom to the knees. If you feel a pain at the back of the knee, add the little ball there to protect the knee, as this will stop the knee from locking out. And we're going to go a little lower now. Again, rolling through my spine. And then stop. Now I'm going to use the ball behind the back like I did in the beginning, but this time with the legs in front of me, and I'm going to roll to that ball again. So we're going to roll through the back and come back up. Now don't go too far if your core muscles are not very strong. With this exercise into row a boat, make sure the heels are down, and as you come back and come up, try and touch your toes this time. So more progression than the warm-up we started with earlier. Now you do have to work your lower rectus abdominis muscles to be able to do this. And each time you roll back, tuck in the chin and release. And we're going to go a little further, holding there just that little second and release. I'm going to do 2 more. And then from here, lift the top leg to stretch again, but this time straight backs. So you see that? So I'm coming up, and my toes should be in line with my eyes. Again, flex foot is probably easier, or dorsiflexion, and we're going to bring that foot higher towards the head. Elbows are open, just stretching again, hamstrings. And one more time here. So legs, bottom, and tummy here, giving a good stretch. And I'm going to change legs. So hold comfortably first. Even if the knee is bent, still hold the leg. It just means your hamstrings are tight. We're going to go up a little higher. Again, I'm looking towards my toes. And then one more stretch. And I can really feel that on the back of my legs. Now I'm going to face you and open my legs so that the feet travel to the corners of my mats. I'm going to place the ball there because in a little while I'm going to use that ball to stretch my back. But now we're going to work into the hips and the legs. Lengthen the arms forwards, but straighten the back and tuck in the chin so you will automatically straighten. And we're going to turn the body from the waist down, or the waist up even, and go down towards the foot. Now I'm going to easy move here into a windmill, but I'm using both hands to place either side of the foot, trying to get my nose down to the knees on each stretch. Now if you have a poorly knee, listen to it. Don't force through the back. If it's a long way down, then just go to where it's comfortable. If you find that the back of the knee is hurting, bring the legs in slightly. And I'm going to do another 10 of these. So 16 altogether. Now this is preparing us for saw, which is a very famous Pilates exercise. We'll go back to that in a minute. I'm just trying to get the lengthening through my legs, my hamstrings and my spine. I'm trying to get my hamstrings a little longer on each stretch. I'm going to do 2 more on each side. Notice I'm curving through my back in order to come as low as I can. And last one. Now take those hands in front. As mentioned earlier, that ball there is going to take my weight of my head now so that I can stretch through my vertebrae and back, and then lengthen the elbows from the shoulders, trying to get the hands further towards you or to the camera. So you're going to do the same towards me, and we're going to keep that head down. Now if it's a long way down and you can't get the ball or the head to the ball, then you can always use a block and do the same here. So it does depend on the stretchiness or flexibility between the legs and your spine. I'm going to stay there for 4 breaths now. And then I'm going to take those hands and place them on my toes. So see if you can do the same, stretching there towards the feet. Now some of you will be more flexible than others, so you can actually remove the ball and bring the forehead all the way down to the floor. So see if your body would allow you to do that. So again, stretch through the back, arms and legs. And I'm going to come up slowly and give the legs a little bit of a wobble as we go into saw. So bringing the hands towards me in a prayer-shaped hold. We're then going to pull back the right arm and keep the elbow in line with the shoulder. And with the left hand, going to chop off the outside of the ankle. We're going to do 16 of these on each leg. So 32 altogether. Now in breath pulls you back, out breath takes you down. Now if you're in the middle of work, you may decide, actually I'm going to stop for a bit and just have a bit of a break. Do this exercise and go back to it, or you may be on replay later watching this on your lunch break or when you finish work. Doesn't matter when you do it, just really good to do before you've eaten. So whatever you do, don't have your dinner and then do this, because you're going to feel a bit sick on these exercises if not. Now notice here, from the windmill exercise into saw, I'm still trying to get my nose to my knee. So your progression is through the back, keeping the knees down, but feeling the stretch on the hamstrings at the back of the leg to the knee. It should be nice and warm now, encouraging the heart rate to climb to about 90 to 100 beats per minute now, depends on where you started. And that is so good for flexibility and really good to work for legs and back, as mentioned at the beginning of class. We've got another 10. It's important that you watch where that elbow is going to, so make sure it stays there as you come down. So you're pulling all the pectoral muscles and into the rhomboids and scapula. So it's not just about the legs, this one. Last ball. And we're nearly there, 2 more. Nice. Now we're going to bring those legs in. I'm going to turn to go onto my back now. So we're ready, you're going to lay down. You can either use the ball under the head or the block or pillow, depending on what you've got to hand at home. I'm going to use my block so that my neck or my cervical spine stays in line with the rest of the body. And then we're going to walk the heels to the bottom and gently work the pelvis going up and down. But I'm not going into bridge. I'm just working on the pelvic floor muscles, or for the men watching, into the prostate. We're squeezing tight inside of the pelvis. Hands by your side will help you as you lift up and down. So what I don't want to see is the upper back coming off the floor, just from the waist down. Now here, working into these muscles, we engage all of the rectus abdominis muscles and many more muscles inside of the pelvis and hips. And really good stretch for the quadriceps, for they have to do the work to support the lift of the tummy and lower back. We're going to continue doing these for another 7, feeling the work into the lower back today. Now this is a really good exercise if you suffer with a lower back problem. However, it's also good if you squeeze the glute muscles together to work on your glute muscles or bottom to make the muscles firmer. Some nice alternative exercises this morning to the other ones I did last week. And again, once you're down on the floor, for those watching that find it difficult to come up and down, you've only got to get up once. For those that are on the sofa, just make sure the head's comfortable and that you've got enough length on your sofa to be able to do this. A little hard on the sofa though, so digging the heels in may restrict your lift. I'm going to do 4 more. Last 2. And 1 more. Now I'm going to remove the block or pillow from my head, so do the same, and draw the heels towards the bottom. If you have a poorly knee, this is to protect the knee, so we're going to keep the feet down, but roll through the back. Place the hands beside your hips and walk the heels towards each other and hold for 5 breaths. This is just to work in the back and the tummy, but also, again, top of the legs having to do the work to support the lift into bridge. Don't forget your breathing. The deeper the breath, the longer you'll stay there. 2 more breaths. Now we're going to progress today by walking the toes towards the bottom and placing the fingertips on the heels. Unless you have a knee problem, stay down. Now here I'm going to lift the glutes a little higher and rest the fingers. Or if you want to fully extend the spine, take the block and lift the bottom up. And this will really help you stay there. If you don't have a block at home, go back to the original position without the block. I'm going to stay there, looking up at my ceiling and holding there for 6 to 7 breaths. If you want to feel the work on the quads a little bit more and don't have a back condition, walk the heels together. You might not be able to reach the heels anymore, but the pulling of the ankles and knees together will work in the back, the quads, and of course in the tummy. For more progression, if you would like it, place the arms over the head. Holding here for another 6 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Fantastic elongation through the spine. Really good if you suffer with a back condition, as long as you're not on the block for too long. I'm going to progress into a Pilates extra single leg stretch. So here, my body's not moved, I've just taken all of the power onto one leg. So again, you're going to do this and hold for another 4 to 6 breaths. Or if you want to count to 10. Now, can you stretch that leg a little further towards the head without coming off the block? I'm going to swap the legs over, again for 6 breaths. Now bring both legs together. Walk them away from each other so you're opening the knees. Remove the block, but place it under the bottom as the feet come down. So you're going to stretch out the back, spine and legs. But I am going to encourage the arms to stretch the whole body again. I'm going to stay there for 4 to 5 breaths. Again, pulling in the tummy muscles here, lifting the rib cage and feeling the nice warm feeling in the lower back and top of the legs. Now bend the knees again. Take the heels to the edge of the block if it's there. Now I'm going to roll up, reach for the knees with the hands and come back down. And I'm going to do 30 of these this morning. So if you struggle with rolling up, then just tuck the chin in and do this with the arms so the head's not doing any lifting. Again, watch the neck. Breathing out as you reach for the knees, breathing in to recover. Each time you breathe in, really contract fully through the middle abdominal muscles. Now that's only 5, so we've still got 25 of these left. If it gets too much for you at any time, just stop and bring the knees to the chest. Now I have taught this with the ball between the hands, which actually helps the shoulders. So if you want to progress, have the ball between the hands. As you tuck in the chin and roll the hands to the knees, you will be able to keep more of a stretch across the shoulders and into, again, the pectoral muscles. But as you lift up and release, don't forget those core muscles are where you want to feel the exercise, or a nice burning across the centre of the tummy. 10 more. Last 4. We're nearly there. So finish. Bring the knees in and gently rock side to side so you'll feel the warmth there on the tummy. Now I'm going to remove the block and I'm going to come up and sit again, but this time I'm going to roll all the way down, stretch the arms above the head, engage the same core muscles, dig the heels in and roll up, tuck through the head as the head travels to the knees. And I'm going to repeat this for just 10. Now try and control it through the core. It is difficult. Those with back conditions, go back to the original injury or just rock side to side with the knees in before we do the next exercise. So notice here I'm drawing an in breath to come up, an out breath to roll back. Last 4. Last 2. Now if you have stopped in between my last 2 roll-ups, we are getting there to be with you in just a minute. Last 1. Now draw the back straight, releasing the tummy, straighten the legs. We're just going to hold and feel that stretch there just for 2 to 3 breaths. And then from here, I'm going to rely on the ball if I have a back condition. If not, use my back to lift the legs up to a seated bridge. And I'm going to drop one leg at a time with a straight back. Again, dropping one leg at a time for about 20, so 10 on each leg. How are we doing? Some of us have given up and left us already. They are hard exercises. And some of us are still trying to catch in between work times. So whatever you're doing, well done. So touching toe to tabletop seated really works here on the tummy and back again. Although the legs are introducing the exercise or dropping the toes to the mat, I'm still having to work my lower abdominals and lengthen my back. 5 more. Now we're going to straighten the legs to the corner of the room and then straighten the back. Feeling the lengthening of my spine, but working the core muscles again and the top of the quadriceps. Here having to hold into extended bridge. Now for those that can, we're going to reach for the toes now and get more of an extension on the legs, but still engage the lower abdominal muscles, looking with the head forwards. Feeling the stretch on the legs, but you will feel a trembling in the core and top of the legs on this one. So breathing in and out for 6 more breaths to hold. If you really can't hold, go back to here, okay? Now if you've already had 2 to 3 weeks off of work, these muscles have probably gone like jelly or mash already. So just hold as long as you can. Now I'm going to open the legs and stay in that position with extension into my adductor muscles. I'm going to hold again for 4 breaths here. And then I'm going to add to that, still working on my tummy, and bring my feet together and then bring the hands through the legs to open out the knees and stay there for another 4 breaths. Now I'm going to roll like a ball. Now if you have a back condition, I would suggest you go back to this exercise to still work top of the legs and to me. Rest of us are going to place the hands on the outside of the calves. Tuck in the chin, roll through the back, roll back and come up without a jerk and hold that position. And we're going to do 10 of these. So a nice in breath to come up, out breath as you roll back. And the secret to a Pilates roll is to tuck in the chin, roll back, stay there, and use the chin to pull through the core to come up again. Two more. Now if you're still doing tabletop drops, lay down. Drop the legs and lay through the whole body to lay down again. Now we're going to work this time on our transverse abdominis muscles that sit under the rib cage. We're going to stretch the ball above the head. Now if you have a bad back, bend the knees. If not, keep them straight for an extra workout. We're going to drop the ball around the side of the body and then to the other side so that we work through these muscles in the centre of the core. Now notice here as I take the arms over the head and round at the elbows stay straight. I encourage that to work through the shoulders and arms. Really good if you suffer with a rotary cuff muscle issue in the shoulders. And again, as you go side to side, you will feel the work through the side of the body, into the lower back, and of course you will feel underneath the rib cage. Ten more. Last one. Now bring the body down and bend the knees. If you have a bad back, place the ball under the bottom or coccyx and lengthen the legs to tabletop. Then we're going to drop one at a time from tabletop to the floor. My toes are just gently touching, as shown when seated earlier. Relax the head, but if the neck starts to fall backwards, add the block or pillow again to keep the head up and to keep the neck in line with the rest of the spine. And here, this should just engage your core. But of course the hip flexors have to work here in order to drop one leg at a time, but you will also feel the lower back. This is strengthening the spinal column. So this will really help into your lower back or sacroiliac joint, as long as the protection is there. Now for those that join me for classes every day normally, we do these a lot, but that's to help keep that center core and lower rectus abdominis nice and strong. Also really good for those that suffer with arthritis or osteoarthritis in knees, ankles, hips, and maybe even in the back. Last 10. Don't forget your breathing. Now it needs to be a little bit more rapid, so you can breathe in, breathe out, every knee drop. We're doing really well. Now if you have just joined us, you're very welcome to play this back to get the full 45 minutes that we did to start at 10 this morning. We're going to do 6 more, just because I want to progress my body, and then I'm going to lead the legs in the air and work the upper body and upper abdominals. You're going to feel this tomorrow. So I'm going to place my block under the head and place my hands around the outside of the block, but keep the elbows open. And I'm going to draw the chin towards the knees. Now that ball is still protecting my lower back and cervical spine, is also being protected, and My cervical spine is also being protected. So you've got lower back, tummy, and the elbows and arms, and the middle core doing all the work. Now again, a really good exercise if you don't work the middle of your body, or if you have a back condition. So all of these exercises are fantastic if you've eaten too much cake or drank too much wine. Don't forget your breathing. 10 more. Last 2. Now bring the legs down. We're going to do one more exercise on each side, but we're going to roll you onto the side. This is to help with the legs and to give the tummy a rest. I'm going to place one hand on top of the other. If that's too much, you can place the block in between the arms or bring the arm forward and the head on the block like this. So either anything that keeps the arms nice and protected if there's injury. Hips should be stacked, and again, if they're rolling back, push that top hip towards me, and then from here point the toe to go up, flex the foot to come down, and repeat this for 30 lifts. Now I'm breathing in as the leg goes up and breathing out as the leg comes down. So I'm not holding my breath, I'm allowing that breathing to be nice and easy or fluent. So don't breathe in and hold and go blue. Again, as you lift the heel up and bring the leg down, you should feel here at the top of the leg. Already done 10, so 20 more here. Don't rush it. If you feel you're unbalancing, just slow it down. Remember, you should be slightly off of the hip underneath to keep you balanced. Again, those that normally come to my Pilates or Yoga Lattes, we do these a lot. Really good to strengthen the muscles on the outside of the leg. Twelve more. Now, if you do know of anyone out there that's not doing much exercise, or you're concerned that they can't get to classes or the gyms, please share. I really don't mind. These are all free. There's no reward for me, just that I've managed to keep my own body nice and fit and healthy, and happy to share that with anyone. 4 more. Two more. Now I need to release that leg, so we're just going to bend the knees, and we're going to go into a clam now by pushing the hip forwards and opening and closing the top leg as far back as you can for about 10 of those. By keeping my hand here, I'm pushing my hip towards you, and so do the same, so towards me, and that will stop the hip from rocking backwards. And then you can target not just the glute muscles in the bottom, but the abductors as well. Should feel it a little bit in the back as well. 4 more. Last one, and we're going to do the same on the other side. So draw the knees in this time. Roll yourselves over onto the other side. And again, make sure the arms are comfortable, whatever position they were in on the other side. And we're going to leg float. So point the toes up, flex the heel down, coming slightly off of the hip underneath, and repeat for 30. Now, if you find Pilates really boring, just remember all of these muscles that you have used this morning have had a real good workout, and you'll feel amazing. The energy that you would have been used up will need to be replaced, so don't forget plenty of drinking afterwards. But also tomorrow you will feel these muscles. We're working to build muscle. We have 15 left. Some of you will be able to go a little higher, but don't unbalance on the hips. Just be careful you're not rocking forwards and back. Well done so far. We're doing so well this morning. I'm so proud of everyone, especially for joining me as well if you are live with me. It just makes me feel a little bit like I'm missing you all. But I can still communicate with you. So we have 5 more left. You should feel an ouch now. 2 left. And last exercise after this into clams. So we're going to bring those legs behind you. Bring that hand here to the back of the hip. Make sure the feet are behind you and that the knees are in line with your hip or shoulder, yeah. And we're going to go up and down. And again, I'm going to squeeze my glutes every time I open into clam so I can feel the work in the hip and my glute muscles. Now with clam, you won't be able to take the leg up very far, but when you're there, if you hold it, you work the adductor and abductor muscles and the glutes. You might find if you've not done anything for 2 weeks that these have gone a little soft, as mentioned earlier. Nice work. 6 more. Now go back onto your back. Bring the knees into the chest. And just rock to release the legs, tummy and bottom. And then we're going to roll you up slowly, straighten the legs just like we started with. Take the arms one at a time to the ceiling, straightening through the back. Arms down, shoulder rolls backwards. Now in order to come up safely, bring the knees in and step in. Once there, I'm just going to work a little bit into the bottom and squat down. So if you were to do about 10 and 15 of these every day, your bottom will stay nice and firm. We're nearly there, just 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.